What if you could dissolve the fear that's holding you back with just one simple shift in how you think? Well, today we're diving into a powerful framework called quantum confidence. Now, this isn't actual physics, but it's a perfect metaphor for completely changing our reality. Let's dive in.
So let's just start with a question. I want you to really think about this for a second. What's the one thing that stops more dreams than anything else? I mean, more than not having enough talent, or time, or that perfect opportunity. Yeah, it's probably none of those things.
It's fear. That one single emotion is the ultimate dream killer. And look, we all feel it, right? But it absolutely does not have to run your life.
And boy, does it wear a lot of different masks. You know, the fear of failing, or the fear of what other people are going to think, of being embarrassed, or that nagging little voice that says you're just not good enough to even try. Or maybe the fear of looking stupid. If any of that sounds familiar, you are in exactly the right place.
You see, all of those fears get their power from one single hidden lie we tell ourselves. If I fail, something is wrong with me. We're taught from a young age to connect our performance directly to our self-worth. And that, right there, is the toxic belief that gives fear all its power.
So how do we dismantle that lie? Well, it all starts with a pretty radical reframe. We're going to stop seeing failure as this final verdict and start seeing it for what it really is. Just a probability.
On the left, that's our default programming, right? The voice we've been listening to our whole lives. Failure is like a judge's gavel coming down, a final verdict that says you're not good enough. But on the right, that's the quantum shift. Failure is just a roll of the dice. It's a probability playing out. It's just an outcome, and it has nothing, I mean nothing, to do with who you are.
So here is our new definition of failure. Ready? It's just a data point. That's it. Think about a scientist in a lab, okay? If an experiment doesn't work, does she throw her hands up and say, "Oh, I'm a terrible person"? No way. She knows the hypothesis was just off. She collects the data, figures out what she can learn, and designs the next experiment. That is the exact mindset we are going for.
And once you really adopt that scientist mindset, everything starts to change. You stop taking things so personally. You recover way faster because you're not stuck in shame. You're willing to try again sooner, which means you learn more with every single attempt. And the result? You start to improve at this incredibly rapid pace.
All right, so we've got a new handle on failure. But what about the actual feeling of fear itself? Let's tackle that head on. You know, most of us think the goal is to become fearless, to just get rid of that feeling entirely. But here's the thing, that's a losing battle. The secret isn't to eliminate fear, it's to reinterpret it. It's about changing what that feeling means to you.
And here's the key insight. That feeling of fear, it's not a stop sign telling you to slam on the brakes. It's actually a giant, flashing arrow pointing you exactly where you need to go for growth. It's your internal compass, pointing right at the edge of your comfort zone.
I absolutely love this way of framing it. Fear is the feeling of your own potential waking up. It means the probability of you becoming your next, more evolved self is actually increasing. So the next time you feel it, instead of backing away, you lean in. You know you're on the right track. Fear becomes your fuel, not your brake pedal.
Okay, so this all leads us to our third big idea. And this one tackles one of the biggest myths out there about confidence itself.
I'm sure you've said this. I know I have. Man, if I just felt more confident, I would totally start that project. We sit around and wait for this magical feeling of certainty to just show up before we're willing to do anything. And yeah, it sounds logical, doesn't it? But it's not how our brains work, at all. In fact, it's completely 100% backwards. See, action comes before confidence. You don't wait to feel confident to act, you act, and that is what builds the confidence. You can't think your way into feeling confident. You have to act your way into it. The feeling always follows the action, never the other way around.
So really, we need a new definition here. Confidence isn't the absence of fear. It's the willingness to act even when you feel uncertain. It's built by collecting evidence, not by waiting for a feeling to arrive. Every little action you take is like a piece of proof you're giving your brain that says, "See, I can handle this." And real, solid confidence is just the sum of all that proof.
Okay, enough of the theory, right? Let's get super practical. I'm going to give you a simple 3-step method you can use. Like today, we'll call it the confidence ladder.
Now, the way this works is by changing how you see yourself. You're no longer the actor on stage, terrified of getting a bad review. Nope. From now on, you are the scientist in the lab, just running experiments to see what works. It creates this amazing sense of curiosity and, honestly, detachment.
Okay, so here's the experiment, step by step. Number 1, take a micro action. And I mean tiny, something so small you basically can't fail. Send 1 email, not write the whole business plan. Number 2, and this is the absolute key, treat the outcome as data. Don't ask, was that good or bad? Ask, okay, what did I learn? And number 3, repeat and adjust. Do it again, right away, with just a tiny 1% tweak based on the data you just collected. That's it. That simple loop is the engine that builds real confidence.
And the principle that makes this whole thing work, the thing you have to remember, is this. The outcome is totally separate from your identity. It doesn't matter if your little action succeeded or failed. Who cares? The result is just a result. It has zero, and I mean zero, impact on who you are. Why? Because your identity is the scientist, the one who's always learning and adapting.
And when you really, truly get this in your bones, wow, the transformation is huge. You stop hesitating, you just move faster, you start taking smart, healthy risks, and that constant critical voice in your head, it starts to get quiet. You just start to live with this incredible sense of freedom.
And the payoff for this shift? It's enormous. When you stop letting the fear of failure call the shots, you can unlock something like 80% of your hidden potential. Just think about that. Most of what you're truly capable of is just sitting there, waiting for you to turn this one key in the lock.
So I'll leave you with this question. If you really believed, deep down, that you couldn't fail, that you could only collect data, what experiment would you finally give yourself permission to run tomorrow?